You can see the can just sitting there, soaking, and hey, it's Matt here with 2A Cops, and I am at Boise Black Rifle today to review a new product that is coming out. There's only 10 in existence currently. We got one of the first ones here at Boise Black Rifle, and that is going to be that can cleaning system right there from Aegis Gun Care. It is their 2230. Don't know where the model number comes from. That's what they're calling it. Yes, it looks like a giant blender. It is not a blender. It is a can cleaning system that's unlike any other one on the market. For that matter, this one's been patented because it's so much unlike any of the other ones on the market currently. This is the first version. They are going to have some subsequent versions, different sizes, and my understanding is they're even going to have one that is large enough to do 6 suppressors exactly at the same time. So when I said it's unlike any other system for cleaning suppressors on the market, it really is. Let me grab one here. This is the breakthrough can cleaning system. It's got a base that goes with it and some brushes and this tube, and they give you the solution to put in it. And basically what you do is you take your dirty suppressor, you drop it in here and you soak it for however long you need to soak it. And then you take the brush out, one of the brushes, and you run it through the can and you do your best to clean the inside of the can out. All of the other can cleaning systems that I have seen that are available for retail sale that are on the market are very similar to that, either that or they are a sonic cleaner of some sort. So you would drop your can in the sonic tank, turn it on, and the sonic vibrations cause the dirt, carbon buildup, all that stuff that's in your can to loosen up and come out. Those solutions have worked pretty good up to this point, but this has a lot more promise. Why do I say that? Because this is a pressurized system that blows the garbage out of your can. At least that's what the claim is. At Boise Black Rifle, we tested one of the early prototypes, several versions prior to this, and it worked better than anything we had used up to that point. This has got many improvements, so I have very high hopes for this. If it doesn't perform, then it's because Rod sucks. Rod's the owner, or I shouldn't say the owner. Rod is the face of Aegis Gun Care. His wife is the owner. So anyway, Rod's a good guy. I'm just talking crap. We bust each other's balls all the time. So what you got going on here, this is a large canister so when I said you get this, you get the solution to fill it, and then you get some brushes. The solution comes in like a bag. It's with a little screw top. And it's meant to be mixed with water. It's the concentrate. So you're going to pour this in, you're going to fill it up with the correct amount of water to get the right level of cleaning fluid in the bucket. I don't know what they're calling this. Under it is, the housing looks pretty large. The base on this looks rather large, but there's a lot of things going on in there. There's a very high pressure pump in there that has a lot of volume. They went through multiple pump designs before they figured out one that would work. And then on top of that, they had to put cooling system in it. So it's vented on the sides. There's fans in there that are blowing. The reason they had to do that is if you're running a really high cycle rate on that pump, it was tending to overheat and then fail. So they're preventing future failures. They're looking at running this thing, pretty much you could set it up and run it nonstop. Obviously, you have to stop it to take a suppressor off of it, but it's designed for heavy use. What the directions say to do, at least this is what I'm told, because I don't read directions. This actually does come with a nice set of instructions here on how to do this. I was given the Reader's Digest yesterday on how to run this thing. This one here is an Exigent Defense Overwatch 762. This is a 5.56 can. The fire team is a 5.56 can. This one is a 30 cal can. This one I've been running on our 300 black test gun that we've been working on that we're going to be releasing soon. But 300 blackout ammo is really dirty. There's lots of particles that come out of 300 blackout subsonic rounds, and this thing's been running a lot of subsonic. So this thing's really dirty inside. You can't get a very good look at it. So I'm excited to see what it does for this one. I can look in here, I just can't get the camera to focus inside. We'll see how it does. So one word of warning, the solution that comes with this is a concentrate. You mix it with water. If you've used water-soluble thread locker on your adapter, whatever you're running, I'm running ASR on this one. This one's running Plan B. If you run any kind of water-soluble thread locker, soaking this can in the can cleaner here is going to loosen that up. You're going to have to redo your muzzle device attachment system. Keep that in mind. It's not a big deal. All right, so here's the way the thing works. You take your suppressor. In this case, last time I was shooting this, we got it really hot. It cooked off my thread locker, so that just unscrewed all on its own. I didn't have to worry about that soaking in there. So I've got this can. This is a bare can. What you're going to do is you're going to take it. Don't know if you can see that right in the center there, a little shiny silver spot. Actually, there's better lighting there. That is the rod that runs up the center of this canister, and you're going to set your suppressor over that. You're going to take your bare can, or your can that has a hub adapter on it, and you are going to put it in here. They weren't kidding about this, but there it goes. So you're just going to put it in here over the rod and let it sit and soak for 15 minutes. You don't have to sit here and wait for 15 minutes. I do. So I'll be back in 15 minutes. All right, through the magic of editing, it's now 15 minutes later. I do need to thank my channel sponsors, Boise Black Rifle, where I happen to be standing right now using this system to test it. So Boise Black Rifle is the longest running channel sponsor here, and they do help the channel out quite a bit on a number of different ways. So big thank you to Boise Black Rifle. Big thank you to Aegis Gun Care. They sponsor the channel. I use their cleaners, lubricants on all my firearms. Love their grease, depending on the gun. And I will be using this can cleaner quite a bit from this point forward. And then last but not least, my newest channel sponsor, Wasson Watch Company. They make a gorgeous automatic field watch. They're an American-owned, veteran-owned, Texas-based watch company using Swiss movements. They are as pro-gun, pro-America as I am. If you are looking for a very nice, durable automatic field watch, or they just released a dive watch as well, use 2A Cops as a discount code over there, and it'll save you 10% on your purchase. Wasson Watch Company, the watch company that knows what time it is. I had mentioned the concentrate that comes with it. This is a bag of the concentrate, the cleaning solution for this. Again, directions tell you exactly how much to mix. All right, so that thing has been soaking now for 15 minutes. Step number 2, and you can do this with or without the provided lid on. I'm going to run it with the lid on it, but I'm not going to clamp it. I'm just going to set it on there. For that matter, I'll start it with the lid off and show you what it looks like when it's going. There's a power button over here on the left side of this thing. Turn it on, and that's what you see. So that rod that you could sort of see earlier that runs up the center of the can has a whole bunch of jets on it. Don't know how many, I don't know what size they are. The rod is a 22 caliber rod, so it will fit in almost any can out there. I don't know of any cans that are smaller in diameter than the 22. There could be a 17 specific can out there. I don't know of it. But any can bigger than a 22, obviously will slip over that. Fit in a 5.56 or a 22 can on there. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but it does, it works. So you put the can on there, let it soak, come back 15 minutes later, turn it on. I'm gonna throw this on here just in case it spits. I don't want it getting on any of the stuff here on the workbench. And you run it for 15 minutes. So stand by, and in 15 minutes, we'll be back. Okay, here we are 15 minutes later. I'm going to attempt to stick my 3X sized, glove-sized hand into this large glove. All right, I'm gonna turn this thing off. All right, so turned it off. take the lid off, get it out of the way. I'm gonna grab a plastic tray here real quick. All right, so can is out. Bring it over here to the bench. All right, you can't see me, lucky for you, but you can see what's going on down here. So the can cleaning system comes with a couple different bore brushes for use for brushing out your can. So soaked for 15 minutes, ran it for 15 minutes. The next step is to take the bore brushes and do your best to run them through the can. And in case you were wondering, there is a rounded tip on this, so you're not going to jack your can up by stuffing it in here. Although I can tell you, this bigger brush here does not want to go through my 22 caliber 5.56 can, so I'm gonna have to go with a smaller one. So one thing, talking to the owner of Aegis Gun Care, the one thing he said he used to do when he was cleaning a lot of cans is he would get a brush like this and he would cut this little rounded handle off the end and he would put it in a drill bit, and he would just, or put it in a power drill, cordless drill, and he would run it into the can slowly doing that, and it would turn it at a higher speed. Saves you a little bit of time. Potentially does a little bit better job. But there's that. The next step is to put it back in the system, and we're going to put it in upside down the second time around. That you can do it the same way both times, but they recommend for better effect to actually run it upside down the second time. It's going to go back in here, muzzle end down this time, and that does go in a lot easier that way. And we're once again going to turn it on. Let me take this glove off here. Okay, can is back in there. You can see the rod, the jets are on, coming up through the center of the can. And all you're going to do, turn it back on again. And we are going to go ahead and let that thing run for another 15 minutes. I'm going to set my lid back on there just to keep any splashing down. And we'll see you back here in 15. I'm not feeling like trying to stuff my big old meat into those gloves again. So I'm just going to shut this thing off and use some pliers to grab it out of there. Okay. Actually, I'm going to stick my next can in there and let it get started on the soaking process. All right, the 30 cal can is now soaking. The 5.56 can is done soaking, done getting blasted out. And I will have to wait till this thing dries off a little bit. Okay, so let it sit and soak. Let this one sit and dry off. Okay, I've already run these two different exigent defense cans on the machine. The hard thing for anybody that doesn't know what they're looking at is going to be to tell if it's clean in here. Because 3D printed Inconel and 3D printed titanium are really like a rough surface, and they don't, you aren't gonna be able to see that the chunks have been removed. So what I've got here is a tuna cans. This is their Fat 9. This is in 6 baffle configuration, and this has been run a couple hundred rounds, not a ton. So this is all nice and shiny aluminum originally, just like the outside. So we are going to throw this on the machine to give you a better idea of how good a job this thing actually does. All right, So if I can angle this right, you can see on that first blast baffle how it's kind of silver in the middle, but then it's totally black on the outsides. See if this thing will zoom in any better. And you can see that ring I was talking about around the outside edges. So we are going to put this thing together. For that matter, since this does come apart, I can open up one of these baffles and you can kind of look in here. So there's the X side. This is the last baffle in the stack. So it's going to be one of the cleanest ones. But you can still see how it's got a grainy surface to it. If you look inside here, there's some chunks in there, some buildup. So we're going to screw this thing together in the 6 baffle configuration with no adapter. Put it in the can, and put it in the cleaner here, and we're going to run that. Actually, we're going to let it soak for 15 minutes, then we're going to run it, then we're going to brush it, and then we're going to run it for 15 more. Set it down. I'm going to put the lid back on that just to keep stuff from falling in it. Let's kind of dry this thing off on the outside here real quick. Let's open this thing up and see what we got going on in here. So the metal is still slightly discolored, which it's been having explosions go off in it, so that's not to be unexpected. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, there it goes. All right, let's try this out and then show you what we got. Same thing here. All right, so you can see inside there, it's all nice and clean. The back side of it, there are no chunks or anything on it. Actually, technically that's the front side of it. There are no chunks there. The back side of it came out really clean. This is the inside of the end cap. Nice and clean. So as you can see right there, that is the back side of a baffle. Alrighty, so I just shook this out over in the garbage can. So there's still some blackness to the inside, but you can see that like all the chunks are gone. This is the very first baffle right here. So blast can, blast chamber here, first baffle. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. So it still has that discolored section there, but that's because explosions have been going off in there. This first baffle is nice and clean. There are no chunks. You can see the nice, if you look at the edges of it, it's nice and clean, no chunks floating on it. I showed you nice and close, how good these baffles came out. Unfortunately, I can't really show you the inside of these because lighting, cameras, that kind of stuff. If I had one here, which we don't unfortunately have an air compressor, I would blow these out. That's going to help get some more of the loose particles out of there. But unfortunately, I do not have an air compressor here at this location. Okay, so you've seen how the system works. I've showed you, especially with this tuna cans, how good that thing will come out depending on how much effort you put into it. The system itself, you get the cleaner, like I showed you the bag of solution, the brushes, and it even comes with a extra hose here for draining it so that you can drain the system and refill it later. It's $439. So as a individual gun owner, that's not a small chunk of change. If you have a lot of cans and you clean your cans often, it's probably going to be worth it. If you're a gun store or a gunsmith and you do a lot of cleaning of suppressors, probably going to be worth it. If you're Joe Blow, you don't shoot a lot, you own 1 or 2 cans, it's going to be up to you. Depends on how much time you put into cleaning your cans and how clean you want them. I am not 100% impartial in this whole thing here because one, I helped test the prototype, and two, Aegis Gun Carry is one of my channel sponsors. So keep that in mind. But I can tell you that it does work very well. I will definitely be throwing more of my cans in there because I've got a couple that haven't been cleaned in a very, very long time. $439 comes with everything you need. You're going to need a place to plug it in, and that's about it. Some paper towels or some rags to wipe things off. Comes with the brushes, comes with the solution. It's pretty much going to be a one-stop shop when it comes to can cleaning, suppressor cleaning. Only you can determine if it's going to be worth it for you. Like I said, if you're a shop, if you're a gunsmith and you deal with suppressors a lot, you are probably going to want one. It is, again, unlike any other system on the market right now. And finally, before I shut up and go away, remember to practice your ABCs. Always be carrying. Make sure you've got your gun on you. You don't get to plan for when you're going to need it. Have it with you all the time. Stay safe. Have a good one, people. All right, so it is going to go back. All right, so, God. All right, so all right, so, and last but not least, quit swinging your arms around, Matt. All righty, so, all right, so